Welcome to the channel, welcome to the workshop. You've seen by the thumbnail, we're doing a bit of a opening of a new in-box budget Walkman. Now I got this off a mate of mine who was clearing out his mum's house, and it was there, and I don't think it's ever been used. So we're going to switch onto the overhead. We're going to open this up. You can see it's just a white box. It must have had a slipcase on it, must have done, but we're going to go over to the overhead. We'll open it up, firstly see if it works, and we'll see if it needs a belt change. So this is what he gave me. It's just a white box. I'm assuming it must have had a slipcase on it at some point, although it does have a serial number on it, which may be an Argos number. I did have a quick look at this, but we'll go into that in a little bit. So let's see, what do we get in the box? Set of instructions. Stop, start, belt clip, lid. Pretty basic. That's it. Notice there's no branding on this at all, or a publishing date. Got two things in here. Let's open up the headphones. There you can see they're still in their wrapper. Oh my word, they're look at the size of my hand compared to those. They're tiny. Just slide. There's no real tension on those. Just straight jack. Still got its wire wire holder in there. We'll give them a go. I don't mind giving them a go because they're brand new. Right, that's that. Get these out of the way, and then we've got the Walkman. Stereo personal cassette player, high resolution. Play, fast forward. It's only very basic. You can see it's got play, fast forward, stop. There's nothing else on here. Got a volume control. That is it. So there's no additional functions like metal tape, Dolby B, auto reverse, reverse. It is as basic as you can possibly get. Although it does have stereo. We'll check that in a minute. I don't think. I think it may have been. There's a couple of minor scratches on the back where it may have been used or just could have been moved around. But other than that, this thing looks absolutely brand new. Inside again, it's really clean. I think it's barely been used. There's a couple of scuffs on the glass, but again, that might have just been because it's been moved around a few times. Right, let's do a first thing first of all. So this, I reckon this is from. I have built another one of these out of two, and I think these are from late 80s, early 90s. These were obviously a very budget orientated Walkman. I've had a look in Argos around that time, and something like this would have been about £7 or £8, which today's roughly double, about 15 quid, which would have been really cheap for a Walkman, considering something like this one, which should have been sold at roughly the same time from Sony. This would have been nearer £60-70, which is like £120 today. And the Walkmans used to go up to £100-110. So you can imagine that this is going to be low costly built. Let's put it that way. Now I did some. You notice there's no branding on this whatsoever. I think it's like a generic one that was sold under a number of brandings. I have found that I think it was in the States it was sold under, and in Europe under the International brand. I put a picture up of one I dug off from the box. That's why I think that this box would have had a slipcase. It went over it for the localized branding in that zone where it was sold. So these were sold everywhere. I can imagine these were sold in different colours as well. I do have a red version of these as well. But let's have a quick shuffle. Let's throw some batteries in it. Let's have a look, because obviously, as you can imagine, it is absolutely clean as a whistle in the battery compartment. Let's just see if we put some power into it, whether it actually turns over and we get some movement on the motors. That's two brand new batteries. Okay, let's play. Yeah. Oh wow, it's got quite a bit of grip, that. Yeah, is it all turning in there? I don't think it needs a belt. Well, we'll see. Right then, let's put this aside for 1 minute. See if how it's working. Let me get my little speakers set up. There. Right, let's put a tape in first of all, and then I'm going to have to change over, change mics because you won't hear this because my mic that I'm using, which is this type, jumps to my voice, so it won't pick up easily. So let's just put a setting. There's no carriage on the door. Let's drop in. How's this going then? There we go. And then we'll play that. Let me turn my mic off, and then we'll go over to the audio on the phone that I'm recording on. Okay, so the audio might change a little bit. Right, now let's give this a go. Play. You know we've got the... To be fair, that's playing really, really well. Let's just see some fast forwarding. It's not fast forwarding very well. It is very slow. So we'll stop that. We'll play again. Okay, so we've only got right channel. Let me just check this is plugged in correctly. I'm certain it was coming out in stereo a minute ago. Oh yeah, stereo again. Obviously I can't play too much music, so they're working really, really well. Right then, I'm just gonna this isn't gonna be a great video. I'm just gonna plug my proper headset in, which is these little Sonys. I just want to have a quick listen because obviously there'll be some distortion using 25-year-old speakers. But I'm really impressed with it so far. Let me just have a quick listen. Okay, the only problem I'm having at the moment is the volume's not working. Wow. Oh, there we go. Wow. Not joking. That sounds really good for something without any bass boost in it. There's a little bit of corrosion on that, so we'll give that a bit of a clean up. This probably hasn't worked in God knows, probably never been played in the last 30 years. So I can see this needing a little bit of playing over to get everything lubricated back up again and get the belts running. But there's no distortion in that whatsoever. The sound quality is surprisingly good. So there's just needs a little bit of contact cleaner in it because you can hear it clicking and dragging, and it wasn't moving at all a minute ago, but it is now. Right then, I'm quite impressed. But right, that's right. You know what we're going to do? Let's have a quick look at have a play around with these ones. Let's get those out of the way. Let's see how these sound. That's that in. Right, so I say, it sounds surprisingly good considering I've literally just took it out of the box and started using it. Right, I'm just going to have a go at these headphones. Now you can see the rubber on these, I don't know if you can see it, it's started to degrade a little bit. But we're going to give them a go. They are, look, you'll see how tiny these are when I put them on. So that's right and that's left. You can see how small they are? They're tiny. Right, let's give this a play. It's not bad. It's not a bad sound at all coming out of this, if I'm being honest with you. Yeah. Compared to God, they're looking sticky. Compared to the one I built out of 2, which was sounded absolutely shocking, but I think that was shot and needed a belt change and a clean up. Really impressed with this. Right, I think the only bit of cleaning up we need to do is going to be, say, on that. So let me just get some contact cleaner. We'll give it a clean. All right, I'm just going to use some contact cleaner. I think it only needs it in there. There's no other buttons in it. Been having a bit of a play around with it in terms of the headphones. Now, when I'm listening with the original ones that came with it, these sound pretty good. The volume, you wrap this all the way up and it's comfortable and there's minimal interference on it. They don't sound too bad. They are probably some degrading in the speakers in there, but they sound okay. Now, when I move to my modern in-ear Sony headphones, ooh, right. Firstly, they are very loud off this. There's not much finesse on the volume. And when it's really quiet, you can hear the hum of the motor in this. This isn't as bad as the other one I built. That was shockingly bad. But if you turn it up just enough, the music drowns it out, and you're absolutely fine. It's just one of those things that I think you're getting more of these cheaper ones. There's less shielding for interference from the motor when it's spinning. Unlike something say like a decent Sony, where you get minimal motor interference on your headphones. But just one of those extra things. But other than that, I'm pretty impressed with it. Over 30 years old, probably never really been played straight off the bat working. Okay, there was a little bit of corrosion on that volume knob, but other than that, this thing works absolutely fine. If I'd have had this as a kid back in the day, I'd have been quite impressed with it because it sounds almost as good as I've got one of those Sony Sports yellow Walkmans with no mega bass on it, and the sound quality of that is not great listening back on it. It was great when I had it, but I reckon this would compared to it, other than that humming sound at low end. But as I said, that's with decent headphones. If you're using the standard ones, this style, I don't think you'd have a problem with that. So, quite impressed with it. Quite a few of these knocking around on, I think I've seen some on vintage for about £5 or £6, which is pretty good for if you want to get an entry into Walkmans and just to try it out. But I say I'm quite impressed with it. And I say thanks a lot to Mark for dropping it around and letting me have it to have a play around. And so, like I say, it is basic as anything, but it does the job. Let me know if you want something like this, one of these real budget ones that were sold through Tandy, Boots, and particularly Argos. And did you have it just as a kid because your mum and dad thought it was a good one, or did you actually really like it? And since you've upgraded, you realise how good quality it was. Anyway, if you made it this far and this has been interesting, thanks for watching. Cheers.